What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. Pretty big evening with the release of the 2026 Polaris lineup, and I am here with the one and only Bruce Gaspardi at an undisclosed location with a sled that is in our fleet that you guys have not seen. We're going to do a whole video on this old peach right here. But we wanted to come here and talk about what we just saw in the 2026 Polaris release. Before we get to that, though, just a couple housekeeping things. For starters, if you guys have dealt with Bruce, you've most likely dealt with Pete at the Southside shop. Pete was a big part of Bruce's business in the last 3 years, give or take. He is a veteran of 20 plus years. He's an engineer in the military, and he got called back to go and serve this country yet again. So unfortunately, we are losing Pete. Thank you, Pete, for everything you've done the last 3 years. He's been awesome. Again, a lot of you guys have dealt with him. With that being said, I am kind of stepping up to the plate, and I don't want to say taking over Pete's position, but I'm going to be helping out Bruce and the Southside crew with snowmobile things. You guys call in. A lot of times you're going to be talking to me. I'm going to be able to help you out, answer your questions, and kind of get you guys into the right sled that fits you. So with that being said, we're now going to get to the 26 reveal, which we literally just watched in this undisclosed location. So, so there, no, we're not talking about new chassis. We're talking about things within our current lineup that have changed and that are very big positives for each and every one of them. Bruce was lucky enough to go out to West Yellowstone and ride them. And now that you guys have seen what we have, we're here to talk about it. So again, guys, if you don't know who Bruce is, this is Bruce Gaspardi, owner of Southside Sales and Service in North Adams, Mass. And what do we got, Bruce? We got some cool new fun things. We have a Dynamics, which unfortunately we did not see in this 26 release. But you guys know, if you've been here and you've been watching, I have a Dynamics. I've had it for all year. I have 1,700 miles on it now. Bruce has one. You have, I think we're probably 700 miles on that one. We love them. We think they're one of the greatest things ever. Now that we have a ton of time on them, they are awesome. They, from plushness to aggressiveness to kind of everything in between, they're really good. I mean, Bruce will be able to kind of go over a little bit more of in-depth stuff of what a Dynamics does, but
yeah, guys. First of all, too, with Pete, Pete is an awesome guy. I mean, he helped out a lot of you guys. He helped me out a ton. I learned from him too. I mean, he served our country. He's an awesome guy, and he knows a bunch. So yeah, we'll see him shortly. I know he's going to be back next week for a little bit to help us out too. So yeah, they didn't talk about Dynamics, which was a little surprising considering, we believe, and again, a lot of people don't know because a lot of them didn't get sold last year, or at least Snowcheck last year, because the Snowcheck was down because of lack of snow. But the Snowmobile is unbelievable. I mean, it is the best snowmobile we have ever ridden out of the box.
hands down.
Hands down. It ride and turn. So they didn't talk about it all because they didn't make any changes to it. Well, they didn't have to make any changes to it. I mean,
because it works that good.
Yeah, it's a VR1, which we all know. A little bit different spring combination, how that sled is set. You guys call in or you think we can fill you all in on that stuff. But it just the way it came, it was really unbelievable. And then we did, Jesse and the way he rides and what we try to accomplish with people that are more aggressive or whatever, we did make some changes to it, and it worked really well too. So that being said, you can't forget about the Dynamics.
No, not at all.
That thing, I'm telling you, anybody that's rode it from this level to this level to this level is like, wow.
Right. I mean, if you go back to a couple videos ago, we were up in Tug Hill. It was me, Bruce, Jer, Pat, Andy. I mean, the whole crew was up there with us, and everyone got a chance on, and every single person that got off it went, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like this thing just is incredible.
No.
It's awesome. It's fantastic. And I mean, it just works again from smooth trails. It works to big bumps and everywhere in between. And it's plush when it needs to be plush. And it absorbs the big bumps when it needs to absorb the big bumps. And again, it's kind of mind boggling to us because it can almost anticipate, or it does anticipate, like a big bump coming up. And it's like, that was a big thing. It's like, how does it do that? And it's smarter than we are.
Yeah, when we got on it, just like any sled, when you first get on it, I don't care if it's an XCR or whatever, you go down the trail, you're kind of getting used to it, and then you see those first big bumps, and you're going to start aiming into them, and you're like, let me see how this is going to be. And well, it was no different when we got on the Dynamics. And it was soon thereafter, it was like, okay, I mean, there isn't an issue.
Right.
This thing can.
Yeah, and then the confidence builds, and then you ride.
You just ride it.
And it's an enjoyable ride because it doesn't beat you up. There's nothing about it that beats you up because, again, when it needs to be plush, it's plush, and when it needs to be stiffer, it's stiffer. So it's like you get the best of both worlds without actually adjusting anything.
Yep.
So super impressive. Dynamics comes in a VR1. It's a 650, 850, or a Patriot Boost. So you kind of have all three levels. I know a lot of you guys wanted it at 9R. We did not get that this year. But you have three options that are also, all fantastic options. So Dynamics, not to be overlooked whatsoever.
Nope.
It is, again, the best stock snowmobile out of the crate that me and Bruce and everyone else that's ridden it has ever ridden.
Yeah.
So,
and then you do have a few more choices of colors this year. So as far as looking at it,
yeah. So it's 5 different choices. Yeah.
So that's a little nicer.
Yeah. Yeah. We only had 2 last year, which people do frown upon, but we have 5 colors this year, so you should be able to find something. Next up in the lineup, we're going to talk about Assault. So Assault, I rode one back in the 24 season. Rode it for a whole season. Super awesome sled. Got it to work really, really good on the trail. And a lot of people, do use it for off-trail stuff. So this year, they put a skinnier front end on it, similar to an Assault.
Yeah, similar to an RMK.
Right, or RMK, I'm sorry, yes.
Cast arms, the same style, short shocks. You can adjust the width in and out for if you wanted a little more trailable or a little more nimble when you're off trail. So they were just going after that to help that person out. And then the other front end is the front end that we all know that comes on a VR1 and an XCR or whatever.
Or a VR1.
Which is built off of that race sled right there. That's what those arms were made off of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, that's a nice plus for an Assault.
Yep.
An Assault comes in 850, 9R, or Boost this year. No 650 in an Assault.
Right.
They're trying to target that super high performance rider for those, which is great.
Yeah.
There's a tons of options. If you want a 650, there are other models for that.
Yeah.
As for an Assault, the Escape front end, it's a big plus. You get a little bit taller spindle, you get different A-arms, different shocks. Again, same as RMK. So super fun, kind of even more so of a crossover than what that sled already is, which is a crossover. Now it's even more so of that in between. Yeah. So super pumped on that. Some new colorways for that. Really nice. They got the lime and the black back, which is always a crowd favorite. That color, I even like it. Yeah. And I'm picky, as you guys know. So, that colorway is always a really, really good one for, really anyone. Some of the biggest news that we took away from the 2026 release is the XCR. So we have done, in the last 4 years, we've done so much with an XCR, from fully stock to completely everything that we could throw at it.
Resuspended.
Yeah, pretty much resuspended.
From guys that are up to over 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've done a ton with them, and it's very cool to see now the long tail rear torsion springs be incorporated on the 137, not a 129. And with that nose numbers being said, which is one thing that they did not touch on, normally XCRs are 128s and 136s.
Yep.
That's the track pitch difference. We've gone over that before, but pretty much Bruce is going to kind of briefly explain what that is because he's better at explaining it than I am.
Yeah, for years we had 252 pitch tracks.
On XCRs.
Yeah, on XCRs. Even before XCRs were XCRs. This sled's a 252 pitch, and it's 25 years old. So it was what you used, and then all of a sudden they came out with 286 pitch. The numbers became odd to us anyway, especially as a Polaris dealer. But that's where everything has shifted to. It's a little bit lighter track. There's a little more distance between the paddles, which sometimes is a little better for when it's trying to shovel snow. And the other thing is there's like next to nothing that is 252 pitch anymore. So it's just harder
across the industry.
So it's just harder to get that stuff. So they just tried to just streamline everything so that everything now is 286 pitch. And so that is the reason why now you saw 137 on an XCR and 129.
Right.
Yeah.
Because again, we've talked about it. Normally it was 128, 136. Now a VR1, which you can't even get a VR1 and a 129 right now.
Right.
So XCR is now 129 and 137, not 128. So that's the reason that you saw that. The biggest thing is, again, just like I was saying, is long tail rear torsion springs. So we've been working with them for the past 2 years now.
This is the third year.
This is the third, well, right, because so we've been doing a ton with them. Bruce has sold them and installed them on
everything. XCRs, VR1s.
Tons. XEs, I mean, kind of across the board, and they work so good. We've done videos on them before. The long tails, just like they said in the reveal, it kind of connects the rear of the suspension to the front, and it all works in tandem.
We had the video where we had them on the bench, and we showed what the suspension does when you move the front torque arm and when it starts moving the rear torque arm. Well, this just enhances that, makes them work together sooner. So the long tail stuff has worked good. Plus, it gives us more options for pounds per degree, which is what it's all about for all these different size riders we have. But
we have guys and gals from 100 pounds to literally 400 pounds.
Yeah, and and it's no fun when it's all you're doing is bouncing off the bottom of the sled. So these springs will definitely enhance that and gives us a lot more option of, okay, this is what you need. Not before, when we only had very small options, and it's like, yeah, well, this is gonna be better, but it's not gonna be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
This is much more tunable. So that, and then they put 125 springs on the front, which is what we've done a ton of, for the past 3 years, because that's what came on a cross country sled and it worked well. So again, you can put light preload and have more, just more pounds per inch. So it anti-bottoms. Even so, with the long tails, we've had these 16 pound per degree, 18 and 20. The 16s had a certain pound per degree, and again, it all stems where when you pick the spring up out of the box, what's the difference between the long tail and the short tail as far as preload when we reset that. Well, now they actually made a new spring. It's another 16 pound per degree, but it's got less preload for this new XCR. Again, trying to just make it conform a little bit so you don't feel that rigidness over the little stuff. And then when you hit, it resists bottoming, because the sleds up till now were 13 pounds per degree on an XCR. So that's another 3 pounds per degree. That's a lot. It's a lot of savings going through the trying to anti-bottom.
Right. But again, with the less preload and everything, you don't actually feel that. It's just as it goes through the stroke, as the suspension goes through the stroke, it gets stiffer as it goes through.
Yeah, more progression.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, valving is a little bit stiffer, recalibrated in about
20%, they said.
20%.
And I rode all that stuff last week, and it is stiffer. I mean, I took it. Oh yeah, front track spring too. They're using a Dynamics front track spring, which was a new spring that they made for the Dynamics, which is similar to what we've used on XCR and VR1, but this crosses over quicker for less bottoming. And sure enough, yes, in Dynamics it worked. But again, the shock's doing a lot of work, so it's like, okay, how much difference did the spring make because the shock works so good? Well, now on the XCR, I took that, and there was plenty of G-out stuff where we were out west, and sure enough, yes, I could just dive right into that G-out, and yes, the front track was like, okay, I just feel it touch, whereas before you just like smash through it. Mm-hmm. So those things, all that stuff, what is good,
right.
And again, it's a lot of things we've been doing, so we know it works.
Right. And then the only thing that is different between a 139 and a 137 XCR is you do not get long tail springs on a 129.
Right. Yeah, the 129 to 137, yes. The 129, they voted to keep the regular length springs on it. Mm-hmm. We have done it on short stuff. We have to do a little bit of finagling, but it does work. But nonetheless, they didn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you do order a 129, and I just wanted to make sure, again, we're just here to give you guys the facts and talk about what we think, but that is if you get a 129 XCR Snowcheck, you're not going to get the long tails on it. Mm-hmm. You will get the different springs. up front and the front track shock. You will get the different valving, but you will not get the long tails in the rear.
Right.
Long tail torsion springs. So, I mean, that's big news for the XER. We've been hoping that they've been kind of going to start working towards that little bit stiffer and kind of implementing some of the things that we talk about pretty frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that I think that's really, really big. And then the last and final is the utility side, which I don't know too much about that. Bruce did get a ton of time on them when he was out west, so Bruce is going to take over here.
Yeah. So, there are plenty of people out there that are utility people, and they come out of the woodwork when we start getting more and more snow. I mean, just because, well, that's what you want to do. You want to ride on top of the snow, but you don't want to, you're not a trail guy, you're not an off-trail guy. You just want to get to the lake, or you want to, or your camp that's 2 miles in the woods or whatever. So we rode a bunch of 155s of wide track, which is Titan, and then 15-inch wide, which is Voyager. Which they showed in the video that you watched, how they have that new rear suspension that picks up in the tail, so when you back up, it'll drive right over. You got a log there or something, it'll literally drive right over that log backwards. But we rode in a lot of off-trail stuff, just seeing how it worked. And even those big Titans, those heaviest sleds like that, with that 155 20-inch wide, really does have a lot of flotation. Like, it really goes through the stuff. And then the Voyager was very nimble. It was, a little narrower front end. They both are. And to get where you want to go, it was like you could really make a mistake and think, I'm going to get stuck, and not get stuck. I mean, it was very noticeable. And then, tons of accessories for them, which is, again, there's a lot of people that, want to go ice fishing or tow into a camp or whatever. I mean, one of the guys that was there, one of the engineers, he showed me the pictures of the one he had. I mean, tell you, he had everything on that set. He literally had on the trail, on the unit, not even a trailer. He built it on the back of the Titan, where it was the whole shanty folded up with the ice augers and this and that, and go out and literally build the thing on the ice. And I mean, they are true utility pieces. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do work well.
So yeah. So, big news kind of across the board, a lot of really good stuff. Again, it's really cool that it's really cool that Bruce gets to, go and try it, because then we have a real life experience. Yeah. And, he could sit there and say, hey, yes, this is this or that's that. So that's super cool. So, I mean, the day we've all been waiting for in the 2026 Polaris reveal. If you guys are interested in submitting a Snowcheck through Bruce is going to kind of go over your options that you do have, because you have a couple different options.
Yeah, I mean, you can go online, build your thing and just send it to me, send it to my dealership, Southside. And then, at that point we can, price it and talk about it with you, and, to decide if you've got an option A or an option B, but you built it this way. So yeah, I mean, it's very, very simple to do it. Or you call us and you want to go over it individually with us, we'll just go over it individually with you.
Right.
And just do it
or if you're in the area, you could come in, we could talk about it. Yep. And go over it. And then on top of that, next week, March 12th,
yep,
Wednesday, we will have the new model lineups here with us.
Yep.
And, I will be here, Bruce will be here, and we can kind of go over what you're thinking, what you like, and go from there.
Yeah, the Polaris truck will be in the yard. It'll have all the 26s, and it'll be a great day right into the evening.
Mm-hmm. So, super exciting. It's kind of crazy that we're already here, that we're already in March, and another full snowmobile. Well, not full
cycle.
I mean, it's like crazy. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like we blinked and we're back here. So, but super exciting. Kudos to Polaris for releasing the latest and greatest and some of industry leading stuff. And again, if you're interested in, snow checking one, give us a call, fill out your information online. Again, it's Southside Sales and Service in North Adams, Mass. Let us know. We'll be able to help you. I'll be there. I'll be on the phone, most likely, talking to you guys. So give us a shout, but that's going to do it. Yep. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.